Well, for more on this topic, we're joined by current affairs commentator Einar Tangen, who is live in Beijing. Welcome, Einar.
Thank you, Rachelle.
Now, for our audience, we know that China is the world's largest soybean importer, and soybeans are America's top. So what's at stake here for both countries if China retaliates against U.S. tariffs by targeting soybeans?
Well, this is Donald Trump. Let's shoot first and then aim later. I mean, it's classic. Right now, he seems to be walking things back, increasing the delay time between when these sanctions will go into effect. But what's missing here is, we can see the pain on both sides. This is Trump country, and it's going to hurt the people that he put him in the White House. But what's missing is the rest of the world. Yes, it will create some opportunities. There's a bumper crop harvest. If you look in Brazil of soybeans, they could benefit. But overall, the entire world trade apparatus is under threat. Where is the WTO, the G20, everybody who's involved, even the TPP? Where are the voices saying that this must stop? It's not just between the U.S. and China.
And certainly a lot more repercussions for other countries involved in the supply chain. So then what could some other key products or industries China could potentially leverage in all this?
Well, there's always Boeing. I mean, that would be tens of thousands of jobs lost if they suddenly got rid of their orders, and that would, of course, be very beneficial to Airbus. But we're also looking at pork. There are all sorts of commodities out there that could be. Wheat is another area. There are things. Almost 15% of the wheat crop was going to China. And remember, this is not even something where China has to say, we're going to impose a tariff. They could simply say, well, let's source only 1/2 as much of our wheat and soybean and pork in the U.S. as we have before. This would have a disastrous effect on the U.S., especially agricultural community.
Now, China is also the U.S.'s largest foreign creditor. It buys U.S. Treasury debt, which in turn helps fund the U.S. federal deficits, and that provides growth capital for U.S. businesses as well. What's your take if or how that could be leveraged?
Well, it could be leveraged in another way. If China suddenly says that this is not a safe harbor anymore and stops buying these things, you could see a tremendous effect, borrowing rates going up. It could affect the U.S. economy in terms of growth as manufacturers have to, and other businesses have to borrow at higher rates. This is really playing with fire. I mean, the idea that this is a Pandora's box is exactly correct. We don't know all the full repercussions of what will happen, but we know it will all be bad. So, as I said, the rest of the world needs to stop watching and start getting involved and saying, look, we need a different solution rather than this uncertainty which is being created.
Now, let's also look at the tactical differences in their approach to tariffs. We have China, who seems to be using this one strategic card at a time, rather than kind of coming in and trying to play everything all at once with a lot of big threats. So how close is that perception to reality?
Well, the perception and the reality are very difficult to ascertain. With Donald Trump tweeting one day to the next, he threatens to do something very quickly and then he backs off. We've seen this with steel and aluminum. But, the danger here is that he continues to fire off these salvos. I think in his mind, transactionally, he wants to get your attention and then see if he can force some sort of favorable outcome. But I don't think he understands that this is business and diplomacy, which relies on predictability. And he's destroying that. Everybody is just wondering what is the next shoe that's going to drop. And many American industries are also in this boat. He's sending out trade representatives to talk to industries that could be affected. But talk is cheap. It will not replace orders if China goes elsewhere.